It's all fun and games till someone gets shot.
PlayStation has 16,000 reviews, 9% are 1-star, 16,657 ratings. A lot are 5-star. So I'm gonna give a negative rating. Hold on. Yeah, I think it's time we tank the PlayStation score as well. You right? I'm a downvote on PlayStation 2. Yeah, because this PlayStation review is looking a little too positive. It's not reflective of the current state of the game. We did a good job here on Steam, you know. PlayStation boys are slacking the boycott. Yeah. Speedkick says, yo, Tekken players are mean AF right now. Tone says, online is weird because people can say whatever they want to the devs through a screen and have no repercussions. PDX says, the noise is so loud, I don't know if our legit criticism will make it through. Like, you have this person here who says, I'm not giving this man a chance, I'm shooting first. So you have people who's now blocking Michael Murray, so Michael Murray can't block them. The quote is, we acknowledge that the game is being too aggressive. Another quote, to address this issue, we're going to give the option to apply pressure. Hybuff Giga says, even the patch notes explanation contradicted itself, showing that the balance team still does not understand what they're doing with the game. And this is what I try to highlight to people who are, you know, saying that everyone is overreacting and everyone is wrong. Like, you literally have it in from the developers where they physically said it out of their mouths that the game is too offensive. You have it in the patch notes where the game says it's too offensive, but then they dumped more offense, an overwhelming amount of it. Let's take a look at this tweet that Michael Murray was responding to. This comes after, you know, the whole thing where he was talking about looking for feedback, looking at criticism, and then he was also blocking people who were giving criticism, right? But he's responding to this one. He's saying that he's seeing it. Now, some people were criticizing him, just putting the eyes there. Blackheart saying, this tweet after all the criticism and eye emoji, thanks. Please stop tweeting. Anything you say right now not only will make it worse, next time we hear from you guys, it should be through actions and decision making to fix this mess. That's how we gain our trust back, not through empty statements of we're listening. So this is the response to Michael Murray just putting the eye emoji. But what he's responding to, it says, with the amount of justified criticism and negativity surrounding this patch, I don't know if they'll be willing to read this. Here's my Tekken 8 wish list. Never going to happen, but just revert back season 1, focus on character balance, and stop attempting to homologize the whole cast. Please do not, and I repeat, do not listen to the request of increasing HP. You're going to undermine Pokken even more than it is right now. The game has already lost its identity with this patch, and doing that will just confirm it. All of these changes here that this person highlights, Michael Murray has seen. He put the little eyeball emoji. You have to wonder which one of these mechanics will make its way into the actual game. What did Frame Whisper say? Frame with him? Let's try to go backwards to see where Frame is at.
The season 2 changes, it's just the culmination of something that has gone on for a really long time, and it's just gotten so ridiculous with this patch that even the people who are like coping the very hardest, even the people who don't really understand the game that well, can tell that it's gone way too far right now.
Hey, Frame Whisperer, can I ask you a question? Do you feel like there's great communication with Bandai Namco and the community?
Okay, it's Scorched Earth. I remember I told you guys that I heard from a friend that there was a Tekken content creator who had tweeted something negative about Falcon Lom and then got phone calls, got privately contacted by Bandai Namco, and Michael Murray asked him to take down his tweet. That person was Spaghetti Red.
Oh.
Yeah.
Unmute the mic. I'm eating beef jerky right now. He said, what? He said, what? That is crazy, bro. But see, what this also shows too is how times have changed and the developers not being able to cope with it. In the past, when the Tekken player base and the community was much smaller and the only people who had voices were like sponsored individuals, I'll say, you used to be able to control the narrative. You used to be able to control the type of criticism and backlash that the game was receiving. But now when you have a lot of people who just made their own way to the top, now you no longer have control over the conversation and you can call people's phones and tell people to take stuff down. And since that was their method in the past, now they don't know how to deal with criticism. And that's kind of makes sense as to why we're seeing this type of behavior from Michael Murray, because he's not used to it.
That person was Spaghetti Red.
Oh.
Yeah. So
Oh, I did. I
mean,
wasn't trying to. I wasn't trying to like get
no,
no
but it's
inside
like because
scoop.
Look at Mike's face. Look at King J. Everyone knows what just happened.
and I was trying to like never, name names or go against anybody or even be negative about specific developers or whatever. But my favorite game franchise is basically fucking dead right now, and these people's fault. So Scorched fucking Earth, I have no fucking respect
Scorched
for
Earth?
any of them anymore. Piss in their
Yeah.
fucking mouth. That's your fucking fault.
Every criticism you have about the game itself, say it. Now, do not call Michael Murray individual names. Do not call Harada individual names. But whatever idea you have about Tekken, you have to say it, bro. We're literally at a turning point. We passed the turning point. Season 1 was the turning point. They didn't listen, and now we're on the other side. And like the only way we make them come back is like literally by flaming it. We tried to be nice with them in season 1. That's what people don't get. Like we sat through a whole 365 days and then some, and they didn't listen to us when we were being reasonable. Now we got to be unreasonable. That's literally how life is.
Can I ask you a question, Frame? You know, bit of what you said just now about Spag and Fakuram and that. Do you think that is also being extended to other people in his position or other content creators?
Definitely. Now, I'll say this first of all. I don't know if that is true. It's a rumor I heard from somebody else who spoke to him directly, right? I completely believe it. I don't know at this point if we as a community will ever be able to recover, and it's these people's fault. So when people say, well, be constructive in your criticism, when we know for a fact that that's the last thing they'll listen to anyway, I don't buy it anymore. This fucking myth about civil discourse being the way forward. Make them feel like the fucking clowns they are, okay? And if we can get rid of them, maybe there's something left to salvage here. But honestly, looks right now, and I mean, I have a track record going back, a decade of predicting these things. There won't be a season 3, and they're going to sell the franchise to 10 cents, and then it's going to be a gotcha game where you buy the little crystals.
What he is saying is not some far-fetched idea, and this is what a lot of people don't realize about Tekken, is that the future is not guaranteed. How many gaming companies was shut down this like past year? Players operate with this idea that Tekken will always exist, and that's not true. We got lucky that the franchise did not die with Tag 2. Harada had to beg Bandai Namco to allow him to make another game. And this is why Tekken 7 was so lackluster, because they were not given the proper funding because Bandai Namco didn't believe in them. Yeah, it's happening with Ubisoft literally right now. And those games has made way more money than Tekken. Tekken has only one success under its belt. You know how many successes Ubisoft has under their belt? And they are getting treated this way? Like, that's what Tekken players don't get. And when they sit here and they say, oh, you guys are being too harsh, you guys are being too mean. No, bro, we are trying to save this game. We know that what makes it successful is defense. And it's not just, oh, we want to win and we want to be able to cream back. No, this is a defensive game. It's a defensive franchise. The developers said it themselves. They said the franchise has been defense from the start to 7. They said Tekken 8 is the first time where offense is the leader. And offense is too much. We told them that in season 1. They did not listen, and they tripled down on offense. And we're trying to get them to realize that this casual audience that they're catering to has many other things that's very better balanced with a better ecosystem, and that's what they will go to. And even if you just talk about fighting games, they have Street Fighter, Fatal Fury, Virtual Fighter 6, Project L. The Tekken developers, the one thing that they can rely on, and this is the one thing that's always been there, is the hardcore players. Die-hard players has been there through thick and thin. Let's not forget what Bandai Namco has done this past year. Their biggest game that they were creating, it was not going well. It got a lot of criticism. Japan rejected it. And what did Bandai Namco do? And Bandai Namco has done it with other games as well. How many times have we seen news articles where it said Bandai Namco just canceled a bunch of games? They told us how expensive this game is. And when you put all that money in, those investors, those executives, they want that money back and then some. And if you cannot deliver, they will only allow that to happen for so long before they say you're done.
Why do we not have a community manager? They hired one at Bandai Namco, that Android 18 girl, and I even spoke to her. She was in my comments and saying that she appreciated my videos and stuff. She fucking disappeared. Why do I have to tweet the private Twitter account of an incompetent fucking flame imp who has been ruining this franchise for a decade, so I can get blocked and the feedback never reaches anybody?
That is pretty interesting as well. When you talk about their community manager, that is Romanova, or that was Romanova. She was hired towards the end of Tekken 7, and she really didn't do much. She wasn't really vocal. She wasn't really like responsive. I don't know what she did. Yet she didn't interact with the community at all. And then one day we hear that she disappears. And then also we never heard that there was a replacement there. They never announced that that position was filled. So with that position eliminated entirely, communicating with your player base through thick, thin, success, failure. That's very important, right? And Tekken currently doesn't have that. What Frame Whisperer is saying here is true, that the community managers are Harada, Michael Murray, and players are trying to force their criticism upon Nakatsu because we see that he is the one actually making the game. One of the developers told us that they are open to that criticism, but we see that it is not the case. Michael Murray is very against it, and he's blocking multiple different people. Wait, so Ed Boon just made a tweet where he is showing the top 15 games ranked by total weekly active users. This is for the month of March, and he is saying here, let's get some more fighting games in the most played list. Mortal Kombat 1 is at 15. Even though we make fun of their numbers on Steam, their weekly users on PlayStation seems to be very, very high. How could we get, because even Street Fighter's not here, right? Street Fighter on Steam has a way bigger player base than both Tekken and Mortal Kombat. You could probably put all the fighting games together and it doesn't equal. So this is a pretty interesting chart of how, even though when you look at Steam, Mortal Kombat doesn't exist, but Street Fighter dominates, Tekken 8 is the middle, the opposite is here. I wish we could see their whole entire, so we could see how far down Tekken 8 actually is. But as you can see with this list alone, 15 games, none of them is, Tekken's not there.